Hello and welcome to the Kaz and Dan Show. My name is Darren Paul, joined as ever by the legendary Kaz Bullock of Manchester Met Mystics commentary fame. Don't know what my head's doing, but we're excited because... Why are we excited, Kaz? Tell them.
We're excited because we've got loads going on. We've got loads of women's basketball and it's great. Do you want me to list everything we've got?
Do it.
We've got a WBBL Cup trophy even final on Sunday. We've got WNBL Team of the Week. We've got WNBA anniversary, 25th anniversary stuff. We've got EuroLeague, not so much Euro Cup, and we have got stats from around the world.
We've got
You don't need anything else.
We've got Kaz's Corner. Don't forget, this is brought to you, powered by, of course, Notch, but also sneaky plug to our friend Dave. Dave owned basketball.co.uk. Check it out. Dave, you can have that one for free. You're welcome. A little treat for you.
I found some good stuff on Dave's website the other day. I was thinking to myself, Georgia Jones is having a great season. I wonder if this is her best season. Turns out it's one of her best seasons.
Oh,
with the information,
but not necessarily her best.
Well, it's her second best in points per game. She's got 17.1 and she averaged 17.8 in 2016-17. It's her best season in steals and rebounds and 3-point percentage. So pretty much one of her best seasons.
There we go.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you can find out straight away on Dave's website in about 20 seconds.
Dave owned basketball.co.uk. If you didn't see our interview with Dave, it is up on our YouTube from last week, where I'll be honest with you, I get a free little tutorial into the inner workings of Dave owns basketball.co.uk. So that was nice for me. And yeah, it's good stuff. Shall we? Where do you want to begin? Because there's kind of a lot.
There is, isn't there? Should we jump into NBL Team of the Week?
Let's do it. Let's show the NBL Team of the Week 1603. There it is. Player of the Week. I mean, there was no discussion. I mean, literally no discussion. It is, of course, Esther Little. Just an absurd performance from Esther Little. Kaz, can you tell us a little bit more about Esther's performance this weekend?
Yep. 10 points, 24 rebounds, 12 blocks. So a triple-double with blocks and not assists, which is, I guess, more common among bigs, but still the least common kind of triple-double.
12 in the in the write-up is described as... Oh, no, actually, the rebounds were described as eye-watering, but I'd also dare say the 12 blocks is just outrageous.
It is, considering I saw something earlier in the week that said that's more blocks than some teams have had all season.
We need to double-check that, but I don't think Dave owned basketball.co.uk.com, sorry. No, .co.uk. The one thing that he said last week that he's not about is team stats. So we can't check that on there. Who else made Team of the Week? We've got Erica Meyer, Makana Stone, Ozzy Momadou, and Robin Ainge. I want to talk briefly about Ozzy Momadou. Let's just look at the numbers. 7.17 rebounds, a 20 efficiency. Really impressive individual performance. Big team win for Kohler Southwark Pride over the Reading Rockets, 62-71. Super impressive performance. And I'll be honest with you, before checking Dave owned basketball, that's enough. I completely missed the fact that she's a rookie in this league. This is her first season. Because she doesn't carry herself like this is her first season playing WNBL basketball. She's a real potential star for the future. And just super impressive performance on the day, as she's been all season long. I just wanted to shout out there. Kaz, was there any performer of the week that you wanted to pay particular credit to or mention?
Just McCann Stone with 12 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a 23 efficiency. But I just think McCann Stone's she's just having a great season, isn't she? She's the difference maker for that team.
She's awesome. She's super efficient as well. 85% shooting. She got 1 turnover, or committed 1 turnover, committed 1 foul in 22 minutes of basketball. Just ridiculous. So good, but so efficient and clean with pretty much everything she does. It is a crying shame that we've got this ridiculous rule that says she can't play WBBL, because I want to see her in the WBBL.
Yeah.
And she can't play there because she went to a D3 college, despite being more than talented enough.
Stupid rule.
Sorry, anybody else worth mentioning? Well, not worth mentioning, but we want to particularly mention, rather, should I say? My goodness. Of course, Erica Maya, more than worth mentioning. 21 points, 8 of 12 from the field. If there's one thing I like, it's efficiency, clean basketball, and rebounds. Awesome performance. 11 rebounds, 27 efficiency. And she's got to step up big for this team. If Team Silent Castrals want to succeed this year, Erica Maya needs to become one of their major pieces. Because, of course, great news for Christina Velke. It was came out last week that she's expecting a little one. So that's really fantastic news for her. But obviously, that's a big, important player gone for the season. So Erica Maya, the American, really needs to put in these performances, and she has been. She's super good. And final one, captain's performance from Robin Ainge. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 20 efficiency. Again, 4 threes out of 8 attempts. Something you'd like to see. Again, high percentage scoring out from the outside. And yeah, again, a really nice performance against the Barking London Lions. So, team of the week, awesome stuff. Kazi B?
It was awesome stuff, and everyone on that team of the week deserves it. And we've got a few honourable mentions. Cameron Taylor Willis has 8 points, 9 rebounds, and a 19 efficiency. Harriet Wellham had 31 points, 7 rebounds, and Amber Dean had 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 steals. And I'm a sucker for that steal stat. Even though Greg doesn't like it.
She is. Amber Dean has, again, an American in this league just doing the business. Absolutely awesome for Cardiff, and she is exactly what they need. Now, we are going to be joined by special guest, our WBBL roving reporter, Michael Hanson-Morris, a little later on. So we're not going to dive into the WBBL action. Actually, we're going to have a little bit of a recap of what went down in the WNBL this past weekend. Speak of the devil is currently sat in the dark, so he needs to fix his lighting sharpish before we let him on this broadcast. We have some standards we like to uphold here at Focus Hoops. So, WNBL action, the scores from the weekend. Ipswich 85-62 winners over Cardiff Met. Big win for Ipswich. Tough first game of 2021 for Cardiff. Reading lost 62-71 to the Cola Southwark Pride, and Loughborough Riders women, very comprehensive win, 76-42 over London Lions Barking Abbey 2. And then on Sunday, we had 2 games. Imagine, 2 games. Southwark Pride beat TVC 83-63. Unfortunately, stats for that game did not work, so we were not able to get anybody in team of the week from that game. So if anybody had a real standout performance, let us know. But when the stats aren't there, the stats aren't there. And final one, Cardiff Met Archers just narrowly lost by 5 points to the Team Silent Kestrels, 58-63 in that game, where Erica Meyer was certainly a key factor. Okay. Oh, Kaz, Mikey, and Greg. Kaz, Mikey, and Ads.
Might have been a while since it's been a
there it is. That is what we wanted. Michael Hansen Morris, as I live and breathe. How are you? Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's back. Are you joining us or what?
I said, oh, you don't read the chat, do you? Or your messages?
I'm a bit busy.
No, that's fine.
Are you happy to join us now? Or is this a sneak peek?
I'm still finishing some bits, so I'm going to sit in the green room till I'm ready.
All right, back to the green room with Michael Hansen Morris. Enjoy yourself. We'll be seeing you shortly. Apologies there. They say never work with explosions, kids, and Michael Hansen Morris. Well, I don't agree with that last one. The first two, absolutely. So that was last weekend. What is coming up this weekend in the WNBL Division 1? We've got Cola Select Pride taking on the Worcester Wolves. Who have you got, Kaz?
Ooh, Worcester. No, Cola. Oh.
Ooh.
Now go with my first one, Worcester.
I'm going Cola. I'm going Select Pride. That is at 2 o'clock. Also on Saturday, it's Team Silent Kestrels taking on the Thames Valley Cavaliers. Kaz?
Thames Valley.
You got TVC.
Yeah.
And at 4 p.m, Reading Rockets, Cardiff Met Archers at the John Medeski Academy. Who you got?
I'll go Reading.
You've got Reading. I've got Cardiff Met Archers. There you go. I said it. Amber Dean is going to show out. She's going to pop off. She's going to bring the noise. Is Mike Hansen Morris lurking in the background? He thinks Cola are going to beat Worcester Wolves. We will see who he thinks about Team Silent Kestrels and TVC and Rockets and Archers. Did I give one for Team Silent?
You did not.
This is TVC. I'm going to go Silent. I'm going to go Silent for that one.
We're head to head here.
We are. And on Sunday, the 21st of March, it is Cardiff Met Archers taking on Nottingham Trent University at 1 p.m. Who you got?
Nottingham.
I got Cardiff. I don't know why. It's probably just a bit Nigel Lloyd with my nationality. I'm going to say it's a bit Nigel Lloyd with my nationality. Because if you ever watch the London Lions broadcast, firstly, thank you. Secondly, every day, I'm like, Nigel Lloyd, prediction time. And he's like, well, Lions are going to win. It's like, okay. But he gives me numbers, so it's fine. Right, we're not going to do WBBL trophy final just yet because Mikey is not quite ready to join us. So, Kaz, what you got? Where are we going next?
Okay. Let's have a quick EuroLeague roundup as we are in the quarterfinals of the EuroLeague. Eurocup is also on, but I'm very sorry to say I've neglected that. Although Temi Fagbenle was playing Sheridan Green's team yesterday.
Shall we do?
Not by herself.
Shall we do our favourite slightly tacky thing?
Yeah.
Come on. It makes sense. There it is. Oh, look at it. The bracket, the quarter-finals are underway. Hopefully you can see that. In the first game of the head-to-head or the two-game series, Avenida 74, Unispar Girona 66. Kaz, what are the big takeaways from this game?
That game is going to come back to haunt Avenida, I think. They had quite a big lead, nearly 20 points, and Girona came back. And I just think of the games that we had, these two were my matchups to watch. So I think that game tomorrow, which is on at 6 p.m. tomorrow, our time, that's going to be a really close game. So it's an 8-point advantage Avenida. So Girona are going to need to win by 9 to go through.
So I can't see, and I like Unispar Girona. I can't see them getting past Avenida, but that is an interesting one. The other matchup in that side of the bracket, Sopron 94-66 winners over Lyon. I mean, Sopron, they have been arguably, I want to see how mad Mikey goes when I say this, arguably the team to beat in EuroLeague this year. Okay, other than, of course, Ekaterinburg. But Sopron, super, super impressive. Kaz, what do we make of this?
Yep, super impressive. So LDLC are without Alicia Clark, which obviously has a big effect for them. But Gabby Williams for Sopron, 24 points, 5 rebounds and assists. She's playing amazing. And I do think Sopron could be a team that maybe might upset Ekaterinburg if they were to get there.
Ooh. Michael didn't go spare at that one. In the big Turkish derby, it was Fenerbahce coming out 91-74 winners in game one. I think that series is done. Put a nail in it. You know, whenever you come up against Satu Sabali, you're done. You're just done. It's over.
And I said, if you come up against Alina Igapova, who had 32 points, 4 rebounds and 7 assists, combine that with Satu's 16, 6 and 1. Yeah.
There you go.
You're stuck.
And in the final one, and we have Chester Donnelly diving in the chat. I think that is the best I've seen Kursk play. I think you're right. 80-67 lost to UMMC Ekaterinburg, but honestly, that's an impressive performance. You know, that's a real impressive performance. It's a really impressive scoreline. The group chat was going off with you guys being like, what is this from Kursk? Again, Kazi B, talk us through.
So Brittany Greiner, 28 points, 6 rebounds and 2 assists. So it was Mikey that was like, who had, this was before the Avenida game, who had UMMC with the smallest margin of victory of all the teams. I don't think we expected that. But so something interesting happened this week. So they obviously are in the same league in Russia as Dynamo Kursk. And this week they had a 7-point win over Dynamo Kursk just before they played this game. My wildly hot take, are Ekaterinburg a bit vulnerable? Even if Brittany Greiner has 24 and 8 and Brianna Stewart has 27 and 12 in a 7-point win.
So in the next round, they're going to play Fenerbahce.
Yes.
So let's just call a spade a spade. Like, unless Galatasaray pull off a miracle, and I just don't see that happening, they play Fenerbahce. That's going to be a really interesting matchup. I don't know who wins. I don't know who wins that. I think
it's a shame the way the bracket's fallen, because I would have liked to see Fenerbahce and Ekaterinburg in the final. I think that'd be a good final. I think
Sopron. Oh, I think any of those 4 sides that are currently in the lead, and we expect to see them go through. I think any combination of those 4 is going to be a good final. It's going to be UMC Ekaterinburg taking on Sopron in the final on
I don't know.
Sunday, 18th of April. That's fine.
I don't know, Darren.
That's what I think.
I think there could be an upset, and I think if there's an upset to be upsetted, it's going to be Fenerbahce. Even though I think I said something different earlier, but I could see. I don't know. I could see an upset there, because as well, it's only over 1 game, isn't it? It's a 1-game semi-final.
Yes, it is, because it's a final 4.
So if it was two, I'd be like, you're catching up. But 1 game, anything can happen. Satu goes off for 50.
I mean, she's got that in her bag. Don't you worry. She's got that in her locker. It's very, very capable of doing that. So, second round of fixtures all taking place tomorrow. So we will be obviously. Hugh Hopkins. UMC are not vulnerable to Dynamo. They are rivals in other brackets. Ekaterinburg would give them issues, as would Galat. Hugh Hopkins bringing the knowledge. Thank you, Hugh. So, Kazi B, you've been told by Hugh's let you know. Hugh has let you know.
I mean, everything we've seen and everything we've said so far this year, I would be inclined to agree. But just if there's a little bit of an upset, I was just trying to create some controversy to get people excited in a team that blows everyone out constantly.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited by what we see. I'm excited by any of these matchups that they could possibly face in the semis or the finals. You know, there's not that many. But I think, like I say, I think Fenerbahce are through, Stopron are through, and Avenida probably should have enough for me. So we shall see. We shall see. Very, very exciting times. Any more in Europe? Are we ready to bring in Michael? Or what do you want to do?
We'll bring you Mike in a second. I was just going to say, if everyone needs a quick reminder of who's playing for the teams that are left, check out our bubble breakdowns that we did on EuroLeague a few weeks ago.
There you go.
On the YouTube channel.
You're such a pro. And Joe, here I am, promising more content before we've even discussed it. We're going to have a Final Four breakdown ahead of the EuroLeague finals. How do you like that, Kaz? How do you like that idea? Please like it.
It's a terrible idea. No one's got time for that.
Perfect.
No, that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Wonderful. So we will do that ahead of time. Shall we save your stat line of the week until later on?
Yes.
And is there any more that we need to cover in Europe, or is it time?
I think it's time.
It's time.
Can we get a drum roll?
We can. Do you know what? I can do you one better. We're going to hear from our sponsors, Notch, and then we'll be right back.
Word from our sponsors, Notch, the mark of achievement, and we are very glad to have them on board with Focus Hoops this year. They make fantastic bracelets that look super stylish and really help you celebrate your sporting achievement. They've just launched a basketball collection, and we're really excited to be on board with them. Let's imagine that you're a player. Let's say that you're Courtney Vandersloot. You got 18 assists in a single ball game, and you want a notch and a bracelet to commemorate that fact. Well, you can do just that. Customize it to your team colors, put the year that you achieved it, and get it the exact size that you need. There are a number of the colors available. Or maybe you're a coach. Maybe you're the coach of a basketball team. Let's just say that you're the London Tyrannosaurus Rex. Your team wears red. You had the league's most valuable player, the MVP, and you want to celebrate that. You want to award them with a great looking notch bracelet. Well, you can do just that. And you can get it saying MVP on the notch itself. That's the charm. You can get the colour you want. Gold is one that I go for if we're commemorating the best player in the league. We could even get the team logo, if it's the Tyrannosaurus Rex, let's say, on there. And present it in a beautiful presentation case. Huge thanks for Notch for coming on board Focus Hoops.
Welcome back. That's not the correct thing. I thought I'd press. There it is. Welcome back to the Captain Dad Show. We are joined by Mikey, our roving WBBL correspondent, commentator, WNBL coach of the D1 coach of the year, elite statistician, all-round good egg, nice guy, friend of you and me. Mikey, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, good. Been a busy day, but we're here.
Well, luckily for you, tomorrow's a nice, quiet one for you as well. So,
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. So, we've got a question from Chester Donnelly. Are there any British players playing in Euro Cup? Well, Chester, funny you should ask that. Only the best British player, arguably. I would say so. I'm going to say it. The best British player. Temi Fakbenley, of course. Who else is playing around Euro Cup?
Sheridine Green.
No,
although she was knocked out yesterday.
No, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because Temi beat Sheridine, and then Temi had, I've just looked up, Temi had 13 in the quarters today in a 14-point win. Can't do maths in my head. 14. Yeah. So Temi's in the semi-final in April, I assume? I don't know.
Oh, I will check. I will check. Mikey.
9th of April.
9th of April. Is that a Final Four situation as well?
Yeah, 9th and 11th.
Kaz, you know what we need to do. More content promise. We'll have a Final Four breakdown.
Hey, that's
Ready
Easter
for you.
holidays. Daz, there you go. Content, Daz. Good job.
Yes. Yes. I don't know why, because why I'd be excited about that, but yes. Well,
you don't need to
content.
sleep. Nobody needs to sleep.
Who needs sleep? Team no sleep. So, right. Mikey, shall we dive into why you've joined us?
Well,
Tell
I
us
assume
all
that we're
about.
going to skip March Madness and go on to the WBBL Cup final or trophy final. Either.
I mean, you can talk about March Madness. No. Let's just if you want WBBL trophy final content, hang around. First off, let's hear about March Madness because it is. I know it is one of your favorite times of the basketball calendar. So what? Firstly, where can people watch games? Because that's always a really important question. Where can people watch games?
I believe every women's game from the tournament and the WNIT is on ESPN Player, which is a week's free trial and then $9.99 for the month. So really $9.99 for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So I don't have it currently. I'm gonna get it at the end of this show. It's a great service, well worth looking at. As if Chester Donnelly is just saying, "Sorry guys, hope I didn't just create more work for you." Chester, I'll tell you what you did. You created more opportunities for us. So no. Thank you very much indeed. So who should we be looking at? Who's going to win, basically, Michael? Who should who should gambling people put their gambling bucks on?
And who should we watch for the WNBA draft?
And who should we watch because they're the most fun team?
Yeah.
Well, WNBA draft is obviously the first point is that Collie has said she's gonna she's committed to the draft already. So she is in the tournament with Texas. They're in a 6th seed. They've got Bradley, who here's a story for you. Despite having multiple previous WBBL players, never made the tournament until this year.
Wow. Bonus
question if you can answer who the players that used to play for Bradley and in the WBBL were.
What state's Bradley?
Betnarjalani.
Bradley's Midwest, so it's Iowa, Illinois, Ohio, that sort of Midwest.
Did you say WBBL or WNBA?
WBBL.
Oh, WBBL.
Two former Bradley Braves played in the WBBL.
Do they still play in the WBBL?
No. However, one was as recent as last year.
Sam Roscoe.
Nope.
I knew that. That's not where she went to college.
I've got no idea. I have no idea.
I feel like it's an impossible question.
A throwback one was Mackenzie Westcott, and the more recent one was Anique Schulte of Oakland, who's now national.
Sorry, say that again. Where's she playing now?
Anique's with the German national team and out in the German top league, averaging like 13 a game.
Very nice.
Sam Roscoe's also in the German top league, so it's kind of like I was right.
Yes.
You're basically correct.
Yeah. In terms of, since we're more based in Britain, obviously, the big news is there is a Brit in the tournament.
Who we got?
Hannah Jump of Stanford, the #1 overall seed.
That's Fran Beebley's team as well, isn't it? Stanford.
Is Fran on that roster? I think Fran's there. Yeah. I should know. I've watched enough of their games. Another UK connection, UC Davis, which is where Megan Jones is at. They are in the tournament.
And where Holly was going.
Yes. Holly's old team, Oregon, in the tournament.
And who else is UC Davis that we know?
Sophia Song.
Sophia Song's team.
Is somebody going there next year?
Yes, we spoke about this a few weeks ago.
But Esther Little is off to Gonzaga, and they are in the tournament, having won their conference tournament in probably the most dramatic style possible, which was lose half the team the day before the game with gastroenteritis, have most of them not available on the game day, and win on a all but buzzer beater.
Oh.
Other British links: Annabelle Latour, ex-Reading Rocket, Middle Tennessee team are in the tournament.
Did Nelson. Did her team make the tournament?
Tyler Nelson's team did not make it, no.
Who is she with?
One of the Floridas, I'm going to say I should have watched the game.
UCF?
Florida Atlantic, I believe.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think you're right. I am terrible when it comes to college.
And I'm probably... Oh, Savannah Wilkinson. How can I forget? She is in the tournament.
Stanford, former parish of Carly Samuelson, in the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, Katie Lou played for UConn.
Yeah, I mean, there's links all around the tournament, but in terms of Brit Watch, Savannah Wilkinson will play and be a big part of the rotation for Florida State. Hannah jumps in the rotation for Stanford, and there's probably someone I'm missing, and in which case I need to apologise. Trying to look at all 64 teams is sometimes a nightmare. You forget who's where and who's made it.
And of course, Satu Sabali's old team, Oregon, are in the tournament. We already covered them, but
with Satu Sabali's sister.
Yeah,
I will preview my bracket, but I've not yet finished it. So I'm not going to picks.
That sounds like an episode of the Hanson Morris Report. Yeah.
That's not getting done before the tournament kicks off at the weekend. That's just not getting done.
What? You can that it'll get we'll
make it happen. Who have you got as your winner?
I have Stanford winning it all.
Oh.
For multiple reasons, but number one reason is obviously they're all bubbled in and around San Antonio, where they will not be leaving. And from everything, it kind of makes sense. Is they're pretty much either on the basketball court, having food, or in their hotel room, and that's about it for the next 3 weeks for those teams that will go all the way to the Final Four. And Stanford did 9 weeks of that in the regular season, so that's, I think, quite a big advantage of having been and gone through a similar type of experience. So,
are there any fans?
I've not heard. I think there is plans for limited fans at both the men's and women's bubbles.
Well, it's in Texas, and I know that in Arlington Park, the baseball stadium, they're looking at having full attendance in Texas.
Yeah, I don't think the NCAA are going all out with attendance. I've actually not seen the latest on. I'm pretty sure there is fans because Texas have said it, but they're being a little bit more restrictive. But what the numbers are, I am not sure.
Any more on March Madness?
Believe it starts. I'm getting my dates mixed up. Saturday. Saturday is the first game.
How many games? Like games every day?
A lot.
Oh yeah.
So so we'll have 16 games on Sunday, 16 games on Monday, 8 on Tuesday, 8 on Wednesday, plus the WNIT, which rolls off tomorrow. So that's another 32 teams in postseason.
Is that Division 3?
Oh no, it's all Division 1 WNIT.
WNIT is Division 1.
D3 season didn't happen. D2 women's, I actually haven't checked up on. I think they're at a final 8 already. But yeah, the big pointer for especially those on the UK time, we are currently 4 hours behind East Coast time, not 5. Have a Brucey bonus of an extra hour because the US changed their clocks on Sunday.
Yes, they did. And all the Americans are moaning about it.
So midday is 4 o'clock UK time. So obviously at that point, you'll be watching the WBBL trophy final.
Naturally.
But once 5 o'clock rolls round, there will be consistent basketball the rest of the night on Sunday to fill your day up with.
So there we go. I think we're all going to have a red hot go at making a bracket. I am just going to pick teams pretty much at random. Again, I don't make an apology for not being super good on the old college. There's a lot of basketball. It's never been my particular scene, but I respect it. And I do always enjoy the Final Four and the National Championship game, especially where Gonzaga men are involved. That has been ridiculous over the last little while. And if you want to have a go at your own bracket via the good people at ESPN, I've put a link in the chat for you there. So check that out, enjoy it, and see if anybody has a bracket dub.
I suppose if I'm organised enough, I can make a Focus Hoops bracket group so people could join their brackets to the group and we can have a competition.
Do it. I don't know what you're planning on doing that on, But do it, and you can tell everybody about it on the Hanson Morris report coming up this weekend.
How many teams is it? How many teams is the bracket? 60?
So he's got
64.
64. So I think you've got 64 games to predict, or is it 63? It's one of the two.
Good question.
63.
I'm not doing that maths.
63, because there's an odd number of games in the final, of course.
Yes.
So 63 games, I believe.
You can autofill it.
Yeah, don't do that. That's boring.
All right. I've just autofilled it. Oh, Lehigh are coming away with the dub. Get in there, Lehigh.
What are they?
Congratulations.
15 seed?
The 13 seed
Okay.
coming all the way out of which division? Coming out of Hemisphere.
Lehigh's up north. It's one of the. It's not the NEC.
No, they're the conference. The quarter they're playing in is the Hemisphere.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking. You say which conference? Lehigh is. Oh my lord. Oh, I should know this as well. It's not like I watched the conference final or anything. Who is Lehigh? No, it's not Mountain West. That's going to really bug me the whole day. I'm actually going to have to look it up because I
It's
can't
whoever
remember.
Boston U
Patriot.
are in, I
Of
assume.
course it is. It's Patriot League.
Oh, there you go.
Formerly of Loyola, Maryland, which has a link to the WNBL final. There we go. There's your segue.
That place has so many links to British basketball. It's
Yes.
ridiculous. Okay. Are we done with March Madness then?
I suppose you want to wrap this up sometimes before 11 o'clock at night. So I suppose we better get on to the trophy final at some point. Did you just mute me?
No, but it was standing. It's WBBL Trophy Final. It is on Sunday. It will be live on Sky. And one assumes YouTube, though I haven't triple checked that.
I've heard YouTube. I
We've
don't
heard
know
YouTube
for sure.
So we will confirm that. Keep it on Focus Hoops Twitter, Facebook, though we're not super active on Facebook unless you're watching us right now, and Instagram. So, Kaz, let's turn to Kaz briefly. What's the story? WBBL Trophy Final. Who's playing and how did they get there?
We have Nottingham Wildcats playing Barking Agby London Lions, and Nottingham got there. They beat Manchester in the semi-finals on Saturday. Barking are through because they got a bye, didn't they, in the semis? They were unable. They were supposed to play Sevenoaks, but no.
Was that the
quarters?
That was the quarters. In the quarters. Yeah, they played Cardiff in the semis.
No, they didn't. They played Leicester.
Yes, they did.
So Barking beat Essex in January and Leicester like 2 weeks ago. Nottingham beat Durham and then Manchester.
There we go. So, simple enough question. Kaz, who's winning? Let's just dive into that straight away. Who have you got for the dub? Have you actually, before you answer that, have you commentated Lions this year, Kaz?
No, I haven't seen them. They're in Manchester on Tuesday.
Ooh, exciting!
So 2 days after the final, so that will be good to see them.
And Mikey, you've had a bit more up close experience of Lions this midweek just passed.
I've seen them 3 times already this year in person, so hopefully 4 on Sunday. We'll see.
Ooh, no. Are you? Is it you and Dan Routledge?
No, but
is it you instead of Dan Routledge?
No, I may be there to be confirmed.
Listen to this guy. So let's just look at the head-to-head before Kaz tells us who's going to win. Their last 5 meetings, and it was actually pretty even split. We have Nottingham taking the matchup back in 2019, 79-58. But then I think this is I know. Hey, what?
That's
so long ago. I don't care.
I'm gonna say the two teams are so different.
I know, but that's what surprised me about this next result from September 27th, 2019, 53-70 to London Lions.
Again, irrelevant. Carry on.
Irrelevant. In 1-4-20, 65-47 to Wildcats. Now, the last two, which Mikey is a bit more excited about, this year, the first 28th of January and the 28th of February. Why is the WBBL website going using the American format? Is this just a live stats thing? Anyway, 74-94 win for London in the January matchup. But in February, how the tables turned. 79-61 victory for the Wildcats. So
No. 79-61 barking.
Then we need to have a chinwag with our mates over at the WBBL website, because
No, it's just you misreading it, I'm sure.
do you know what? I didn't want to have to do this. I didn't want to do this right now. I wanted to be professional about things. But do you know what? I'm not taking this slander from you, Hanson Morris. Okay? Observe this. Tell me in what universe that says Barking Abbey won that game.
Because home team is listed first on all occasions.
No, that's
Yes.
That,
Okay.
But then how do you know which is the home team?
How professional and if you really want to go this way.
How are you supposed to know which is the home team? But you're not supposed to. You can't look at that and then cross-reference it.
79-61 London Lions. There you go.
Right. Well, there we go. It's going well. So, Mr. Hanson Morris, talk to us then.
Well, the question is, who do you want to hear from?
What do you mean, who do I want to hear from?
Do you want to hear some thoughts from head coach Kermit Lightbird, or some thoughts of Chelsea Shumpert or Jasmine Joyner? Because I can give you all three.
Well,
let's get Chelsea.
Yeah, let's go Chelsea.
Okay, let's just cue this up then.
Hugh Hopkins tells us coverage of WBBL Trophy Final begins at 2:30 on Sky Sports Mix, free to all on Sunday. Hugh, thank you very much as always for the great knowledge and content. Can't wait to see your bracket, by the way, Hugh. All right, Mikey.
I'm just going to play it and go. I caught up with Chelsea actually this afternoon. So here are some of her thoughts ahead of the final. Welcome to the Focus Hoops 2021 WBBL Trophy Final preview show. Now joined by Nottingham Wildcats point guard Chelsea Shumpert. Chelsea, first of all, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mikey. It's a pleasure.
Obviously, you've been at the club. This is your third season now. So before we kind of get into a little bit more details, just talk about your feelings of finally making a final, what it means for you and for the club as a whole.
Yeah, it means a lot, specifically for me. This will be my first one, even getting to play in the finals. And I'm just, happy to be, being able to play in the finals, because I always watch it. So being able to play in it is just a whole different experience. And as far as the club, I mean, we've had like a lot of injuries this year, and this will be our first time having the full roster. And so it's exciting, and it's exciting to get to play with everyone, and look forward to it.
And talk about having everyone back. Obviously, everyone's been in that lineup, as you mentioned, but just talk a little bit about the other players in the backcourt, the likes of Mariam, Simone Tier, and how you were kind of meshed, especially with this being your second year as a little small unit, as the backcourt, with a lot of familiarity with each other.
Yeah, I think that being familiar with each other is always a big help. But as far as just your typical bringing the ball up, giving me rest here and there, and their presence will allow us to see different options and see different things that we can do on the court. And so I think it's a big deal. And I think that as Miriam grows and she looks up to us, and she asks questions, and so that's always a good thing to have, a pretty good backcourt on your side as a point guard.
Obviously, you played the London Lions a couple of times this season already, not kind of come out with the results you wanted. Just talk about what you've kind of learned from those two games that you can build on going into the final.
Yeah, well, me personally, as a team, actually, we learned that London Lions is a tough team. They play They play hard and tough and with intensity throughout the whole game. So we have to be a fourth quarter team, and if anything, we just learned them 2 games just be there for each other and play for each other and not individually and match their intensity.
Obviously, one of the better matchups you've had in the backcourt this year is with Shanice Norton-Beckford, who obviously has been playing really well. Just talk about some of the challenges she's given you personally and the team, and how you can sort of adapt to that. Now you've seen her a couple of times.
Yeah, she's a good defender. She was one of our American guards, so she really knows she knows to scout and report, and she kind of knows how to defend. So what I took away from that was just continue to not do anything just spectacular different, but just get to my spots and get to different positions that will allow me to succeed, and as far as my teammates as well.
I just talk about that a little bit more in terms of obviously getting to your spots. How do you feel your comfort within the offense has evolved, and how have you kind of grown as a player over the course of this season?
Yeah, I've grown a lot. Not only from scoring point, but I've learned to just to get teammates involved more and put them in spots. Not only just me, but put them in spots as well, because we want to be a full team on the floor. And so that's hard to guard for any team, is that you have different weapons. And so not just me, but just allowing myself to be visual and be smarter and just do more than score. Maybe that's assists, maybe that's rebounds, and maybe that's just being vocal. But whatever it is, just try to maintain that and try to improve each game.
As you probably say, you said you watched a lot of finals. They tend to come down the stretch a lot. So in that situation, obviously you know how to take big shots. You've taken some in the past, even in your college career, not necessarily a final, but just talk about the confidence that you've got of the team of being able to execute in close games.
Yeah, I've kind of since I've started playing, I've just been that person. I had the confidence in myself just to end the game. And if I'm down, if I'm on the court or whatever, and a wide open person is open, they can end the game, that's fine. But I like it on my shoulders just because I know me, and I know that I'm going to try to get the job done.
And obviously, what would it mean to you and for the club to finally get your hands on some silverware? I know it's since you've ever come to the club, that's the one thing you've wanted to do, is continue the tradition of the club in winning. So how important is this game?
It's very important. I one of the most important games of my life, just because, like I said, it would be my first one, and I want to succeed in that. I want to make memories. I want to have a story to tell, and then that story is in a pandemic. So why not just staple it with a trophy coming home? And like I said, it would just be one for the books, and I would just always want to tell it, and I would always want to be a part of it. So hopefully I can get the results that I would like to have.
Well, hopefully you can. Obviously, I've known you for a couple of years, and it's been great to see you grow. So best of luck in the final, and hopefully catch up with you soon.
Thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, as ever, Michael Hansen-Morris, for your amazing work with the interviews this week. Some probing questions there, Mikey. What's your big takeaway from your conversation with Chelsea there?
I think obviously I've talked to a few Wildcats over the weeks. I've also spoke to Siobhan and obviously Kenrick and Yaz as well. So I've kind of got a feel for the camp. I think the thing is, I think they're fairly relaxed. That's the kind of total vibe I've got. I don't necessarily think they're underdogs. They certainly believe they can win, and they've kind of got some reason behind that. Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing, that they're not putting too much weight on those 2 losses, which is interesting because obviously they've been pretty significant losses. When you look at it statistically, it's a loss by 20 and a loss by 18. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe, and I think there's just an underlying sense of confidence that this is the time to do it. So it's going to be a super interesting match. I know we'll get into the details of, but yeah, that's kind of the vibe I've got as a whole from the club this week.
Kaz, obviously, similarly, you've commentated quite a lot this season, or it feels like quite a lot this season anyway. How many Wildcats games have you done?
3.
It's 3 for you. How many have you done, Michael?
Wildcats about 5, but as I say, Nottingham haven't played Manchester at home yet. They've played them 3 times on the road, which is pretty remarkable.
So what's your takeaway from that interview?
Yeah. I think like Nottingham have got they've got another gear that they can just kind of turn on. Like we saw on Saturday in the semi-final against Manchester. So Manchester took the lead into half time, and in the second half, Nottingham just came out and clicked, and they can just go. And like Chelsea says, she's one of the players that wants the ball. She wants to take that shot. And when she's having a good game with Joyner, when they're working together and everything's flowing, they're a really tough team. They're a really, really tough defensive team as well. I'd like to see this come down to a Chelsea Shumpert buzzer beater. That'd be fun.
So you'd like to see the Wildcats win?
Yeah. I've really enjoyed watching Nottingham this year. So I've watched the most Mystics games, but I've watched the most Nottingham games after that, and I like them as a team. I like watching them. I don't like watching them beat Manchester, but as a team to watch, yeah, I've enjoyed them. And Chelsea Shumpert's one of my favourite players to watch because she's just awesome. That's
fair. I suppose we'll allow that.
Mutually exclusive things. Manchester, Nottingham winning.
Oh, jeez. Somebody's not looking for an invite to Manchester anytime soon, are they?
I think Manchester will tell you that as well. It's the one team that, for whatever reason, they've not figured out matchups from. And okay, the first half of the semi-final was a little bit different, but outside of that, they've not really looked close in even recent years to beating Nottingham at all. It's just sometimes teams don't match up well with each other, and Manchester's one of the teams that they just don't match up well with Wildcats.
So obviously, I just want to disclaimer. Big shout out to the Cybernets. This is going to be a little bit Nottingham centric, not because of my not
from me.
Well, no, I'm just in terms of who have we got clips from, Michael?
Oh well, that's all we've got.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In terms of the clip wise, it's going to be a little bit Nottingham centric. That isn't because of Michael's massive inherent bias towards the team that he won the cup with. That's a joke. It's just because we are doing the interviews with London Barking Abbey tomorrow. Really, really excited for that. Mikey's going to sit down with a number of players and, of course, the legendary Mark Clark to do some interviews, and they will all get released on Saturday as part of our big pre-game coverage. That's the plan. Michael wasn't aware of the plan, but that's the plan. So, Mikey, you said that you had Kenrick.
Yes. I won't play a whole thing because it's 14, 15 minutes, but I'll kind of give you a quick summary. Then you'll have to wait for the full one, which you never know. We might be able to get up tomorrow, depending on timings of how organised I am. Maybe.
Content.
Yeah. It's interesting. Obviously, the Wildcats have, for those not seen a lot, obviously have gone through a lot. Kenrick, I think the big story from that is he's back on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Because this time, but even this time last week, the plan was he wasn't going to be coaching the semi-final or the final. But things have kind of changed a little bit. So he's on the sideline for the semi-final. And obviously it's kind of a bit of a culmination of a 3-year cycle for him since he joined the club. Year one was more of a rebuilding year as such. I think that's fair to say. Obviously with a changing coaching staff and stuff. Still some talent there, and then obviously things didn't quite work out last year. So one of the things he alluded to was the fact that Chelsea Shumpert got hurt last year in late November, early December, I think it was. But again, they've kind of felt like they could compete and win silverware last year. Obviously lost in the trophy semi-finals to Durham. And this year it's been inconsistent with injuries, and that's kind of I think the anomaly of the season is Nottingham haven't really been COVID hit. but it's all been
Don't
injuries.
say that. You've just jinxed them.
No, but it's been the other flip side of they've instead had to deal with injuries, and virtually everyone on the roster's missed a game this year. From injuries instead, so they've had people in and out the lineup. And if you kind of look at the two Barking games, the first Barking game dominated by Cassie Breen, but Wildcats really short benched. We really didn't have a lot off the bench at all that day. I think there was 3 starters missing from the first game. And then the second game, they kind of just about got everyone back in time, but Simone Costa, Siobhan Price, Shania Rose McDonald, all 3 of them, which are in the top 8 of the rotation, and you can say probably 2 start normally, all was their first game back, having missed at least a month. And then obviously Kenrick wasn't on the sidelines as well. So that was kind of where Kenrick was at with the previous matchups. And I think the big thing ultimately is on the defensive end for Nottingham. And Mystics, I mean, Kaz will go into detail, but it was really like a Jekyll and Hyde game. Mystics had everything they wanted in the first half and made a lot of shots. And in the second half, they created very little. And it's the case of, for me, I think, from Nottingham's point of view, it's which Nottingham turn up on the defensive end.
So Chester Donnelly just comes in to say WBBL is on both Sky Sports channels, including the free one, and it's not up against any big sporting events. So that is really good news. So, Mikey, have you got any other clips from your conversations this week?
Just got the full one, so I think we'll keep them in waiting, shall we?
Oh, keeping the people on their toes, excited for what you got up to meeting with. Who did you meet with? Remind people again. Obviously,
so it'll be from Nottingham side. It'll be head coach Kenrick Liebird, and then Siobhan Pryor, Chelsea Shumpert, which obviously you've just heard now on the show, and Jasmine Joyner as well. And
tomorrow will be Mark Clark and a couple of to be announced. We've got to hold some secrets back, you know. You've not won this tournament, but obviously you've coached cup victories with the Wildcats and obviously with the Ruskin. What does it take to win at this level?
Putting together 40 minutes. It's going to be as simple as that, and then executing down the stretch. I think everyone will agree, if you watch the women's final, name the last super lopsided final, and you're going back maybe even as far as the last time Barking Abbey as they were then were in a final, which was January 2016, I believe. Even a couple of the ones that kind of slipped away towards the end have all slipped away in the fourth quarter, and teams have kind of at least been in the game going into the fourth. So I think execution down the stretch is huge. But the one unknown, I think, is we've not seen many of these players on either roster in a domestic final. And yeah, you can say, oh, they've played on big stages. Yes. Cassie Breen, NCAA tournament, Chelsea Shumpert, D2 Final 8. Even the conference tournaments we know in college are huge things, and what 1,000 fans there. And obviously we haven't got the fans this year, but that pressure of a one-off final, we've not seen a lot of these players in. And that's kind of I think the big unknown was, okay, Leicester's roster's changed, but you can still say you've seen Hannah Robb's been in 2-3 finals now. Holly Wintersburn's been in 3 or 4. Whitney Allen's been in a few. Ella Clark's been in a few. And then you look at Sevenoaks, that's the same group that's been in finals for the last 3-4 years. And those type of teams, these are the 2 teams that you imagine will be up there for playoff final stuff that we've not seen in a final. Outside of really Siobhan Pryor. So that's the huge
that'll be it, I think.
Players adapt to that.
Question from Hugh Hopkins. Question for Mikey. As a coach, do you think there's much of a talent difference between the 2 sides in the final?
How long have I got?
You got as long as you need. You've got as long as till Facebook kick us off, I think.
They're 2 different sides. They're built very differently. Nottingham on paper have got the talent advantage in the front court, Barking in the back court. I don't think there's a lot between them if everyone plays well and everyone's fit. That's what I not just because it's a final, but I think on the right day, I can see this being a 2-possession game. So that should say that there's not a lot of talent difference between them. That's kind of the brief summary without breaking down players by players and the comparisons.
I mean, I'm here for a basketball education. If you want to give us a small breakdown of a couple of players. Now, I'm just looking at this from a really, really, really surface level, just scratch of it, just looking at our friend Dave's website, daveownbasketball.co.uk. Not a paid endorsement, but if he wants to support Focus Hoops, feel free, Dave. London have 4 players averaging double-figure scoring. Nottingham have 2 players averaging double-digit scoring. Then you've got Moa Lundquist and Tia Freeman and Simone Costa and Siobhan Pryor, all on the 9-point blahs. To me, doesn't mean heaps, but does it mean something?
Yeah, I think the big difference between the sides is a style of play that I expect to see in the final. And also, I think the one thing you can say this Nottingham team is lacking is catch and shoot 3-point weapons. Obviously, we all know Siobhan Pryor can do it, but she's kind of her volume's lower.
Yeah.
Whereas Barking have got a lot more consistent. Chelsea Shumpert's threes are generally off the dribble rather than catch and shoot. She has to generally create her own shot, where Barking is, they'll get Cassie Breen catch and shoot. They'll get Kennedy a couple of catch and shoot opportunities. Even Chantel Charleston step out and get catch and shoot. And I think the 3-point line is probably where Barking have a big edge. So I think that's the big difference when I look at the backcourts is I think Barking have got a little bit more depth in terms of 3-point options. And in a final that's in a venue that is decently, as Chester's just put in the comments, if you being in Worcester, it's a venue that's, I don't want to say is a high scoring venue, but it is typically a venue you can shoot the ball to a decent percentage at. You see in the big finals that teams generally struggle in the bigger arenas.
Yeah.
Whereas Worcester's not that. Say from a personal view, last time I coached in Worcester, I think we were 9 of 16 from 3 at the half. Something like that. So it's a venue. It was January last year in a Bucks game. I can't remember the exact numbers, but we just come off the back of shooting 4 of 24 from, with a similar group in National League. So we weren't exactly shooting it great. But no, teams can score in Worcester, and I think that will probably suit Barking a little bit more, being in the smaller venue as such.
Now, help me out here, because I'm not a coach to the same level as you are. Why is catch and shoot threes so important in a final and in this final, in your opinion?
Spacing the floor. I think it's as simple as that. Barking have got the complementary pieces to score on all 3 levels, and Nottingham do as well. But ultimately, the thing with the threes, and if you listen to any of the stuff like Dave Forrest has been doing with Dan Routledge on the Sunday Night Review for BBL, Dave's talking about a total points you can score in a game. So obviously, if you shoot 53s and 22s, you've got a higher chance of scoring in terms of total points expected than if you shot 52s and 23s. Okay. You've got an extra 30 points right there. But I just think Barking have got that balance with the spacing, and I don't think there'll be many people. And if you haven't watched Cassie Breen play, you're in for a spectacle. But she is going to be up there with the best 3-point shooter we've ever seen in the league.
Before Cassie Breen, who is your best 3-point shooter ever in the league?
That's a question.
Oh, you're welcome.
Probably Renee.
Okay.
Over consistency, over a long period of time, we've seen people come in and, like, you wouldn't say Georgia Jones is a bad 3-point shooter. Chelsea Shumpert's a very good 3-point shooter, but the effectiveness that Breen is shooting it, and Renee's always shot it well, but Breen's up at She may be at 50% by now.
Cassie Breen, 48.1% on
Yeah.
8 attempts a game, hitting 3.8. Outrageous.
And they're not a lot. Some of them are wide open, but she's shooting them, and teams are trying to key on and getting her off the 3-point line, and she's still getting stuff up. And if you watched the Barking game yesterday, some of the stuff she made over Kat Carr was just ridiculous. Like, Kat Carr was right there. She couldn't have defended it any better. And Cassie Breen was still able to catch it, go up and catch and shoot and get it up and nail it. So it's something we've not seen before. And there is no, outside of not letting her catch the ball, there's not a lot you can do from a coaching game point to take away catch and shoot free. If she got the ball and she's got an inch of space, she'll go up. And she torched Nottingham the first time they played them. It was what, 30 at the half? I forget, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now Wildcats made the adjustment in the second game, but then they lost Kennedy Leonard in the second game, and Kennedy torched them. So yeah, Barking and Mark have got that depth where they've got all three of their starters in the backcourt kind of win the game pretty much on their own, and that's a unique luxury for them.
And they've also got, Shanice Beckford-Norton, 13.8 points per game.
Right, so she's the one in the backcourt you're probably less worried about, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, with what you've just said, the threes aren't there, but the rest of it.
Kennedy Leonard again, she's averaging double-digit assists. Do not believe we've ever seen that in WBBL. I said that on the call yesterday. And she just does it without even realizing it. Like, I had no clue midway through the third quarter she was up to 8. It just didn't feel like that. And she can just pull so many of those strings just under the radar. And obviously, she's got the ability to score 20, 25 if the team really needed to.
Sorry, carry on.
No, that was it. On Kennedy, I mean, she's in the MVP race, as is Cassie Breen, and if you said to me right now that one of those was the MVP, I don't think you can make an argument.
Yeah, I mean, especially since your MVP pick at the start of the season has now left the league.
Yeah.
Out of interest, on a bit of a tangent, how was she looking for MVP before she left the league?
She was right up there. I mean, Leicester hadn't lost the game.
Well, there you go. Question for Kaz from Hugh Hopkins. Which team in BBL Trophy Final is more fun to watch?
See, I think
Michael.
I'm glad I'm not answering that because I don't know.
Personally, just because I've seen more of them, I'll say Nottingham because I don't know. I've seen a London game that's been like too competitive. I think the London games I've seen have been the more one-sided ones.
Okay, take the time to go watch yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Well, had it not been on at 2:30 in the afternoon, I would have watched it.
2:30.
2.
It was 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Oh, that makes it so much better.
Replay. Honestly, no, I will say, if anyone hasn't watched that game, that's you know the game you expect, and any basketball fans, even you don't have to be a basketball fan to quit. When you have two undefeated teams or two teams that you expect to be competing for silverware, winning trophies, either that trophy or trophies at the end of the year. So even if football, it's Man City, Liverpool, for example, and take whichever sport you want. You know the game you always expect, and very rarely you get for whatever reason. We got yesterday, and that was, and the Twitter comments I was strolling through after the game, some of the stuff that was being said in chat, that was as good without being a final as the Sevenoaks Sheffield Cup final was.
Ooh, that's a
Why
big
was it?
chat.
And
big chat.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had plenty of good finals in trophy playoffs, but that is probably the one that stands out to everyone, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
in the women's game recently, and it was that level of game. Obviously, Kat Carr hit the game winner with 13 seconds to go. Then Barking turned it over, so we didn't quite get the dramatic ending we thought. But ultimately, it was Barking ball down 1 with 13 seconds to go.
How many points did she get down the stretch? Was it 6 points down the stretch to win out the game?
I remember her being on 14. I don't remember when she went from 14 to 16. So she probably had 8 in the final 5.
She ended on 24, didn't she, Kat Carr?
Yeah, so yeah, but I don't remember when she went from 14, like I say, maybe 16 to 8. Because, the game was just back and forward. Kennedy Leonard was making plays. Cassie Breen made a big 3. Shanice made a couple. Paige had a big offensive rebound for Barking. And then Kat was kind of dominant for Sevenoaks, but she got others involved. And no, honestly, if you haven't watched it, WBBL YouTube, the viewing, by the way, bearing in mind everything you said about tip time, and I agree, and everyone kind of said it wasn't ideal, but that's when Sevenoaks were allowed in by Surrey Sports Park.
Yeah.
I think I saw we had 300 recurrent viewers or just under 300 as the game was finishing.
That's decent.
And I saw the view count this morning was up at 2,500 already.
That's very decent.
Yeah. I don't know what it is now. I'll have a quick look while I'm waffling. Yeah, it's 2.5K right now.
I mean, that's awesome. It's just it's a shame
for when it was.
It's a shame we got a Wednesday lunchtime game. I understand the situation. We all understand the situation.
Got a couple more coming as well, unfortunately. That's
the top 2 teams in the country.
Yeah,
arguably.
We haven't gone into Sevenoaks, and it's kind of a really side topic from the final. But Sevenoaks' fixture list is not nice the rest of the way. So,
how many games did they announce for April? Was it 17?
Well,
no, it's 13.
But they've got 4 in 5 days. They play a Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday stretch.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh,
yeah, including this. And the building into that, they've got the 2 teams in the trophy final Friday, Sunday. So they go Nottingham Friday, Barking Sunday, and then they go Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday as a stretch.
If they win this league, it will be the single greatest British League championship won by any basketball team.
Yeah,
they are facing ridiculous odds, and you know what? Would you bet against this team and this coach and this culture?
I say yes, just because that in amount of games, and I think the other thing is we've got 4 teams legitimately in title contention right now, which I don't remember the last time we had 4. We've had 3, but right now you've got 4, and that's excluding Nottingham, who are probably done in the league, but they're still a good side.
What? Raise your hand if you want WBBL Final 4. Yes, make it happen, WBBL. Why not? We've got games tipping off at bloody lunchtime on a Wednesday. Why not have a Final 4 if we're chucking it all out the rule book this week? We know Hugh Hopkins is down.
I take my comment back. I disagree. I don't want a Final 4.
We're not getting a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. So
no, I still don't want a Final 4. And do you know why? Because I want these teams to have time to prep for each other and be fully rested for a final.
Oh, sorry. I meant Friday, Sunday.
No, still not enough time to prep. Give the likes of Mark Clark, Len Bush, Jesper Sumber, Kenrick, Tom Sadler. Give those a week. Give them a week. Give them a couple of days where we focus on them. A couple of days where they can come up with an adjustment. A day of walkthrough as well, and it will make the final even better. So no Final 4, and that's the reason why.
All right, I respect that. If we're not getting that full week WBBL Final 4, right? Valid. Yeah, fair. Valid. Yes, we got a valid from Michael Hunter Morris. You rarely hear it. So, Mikey, sounds like you are going Barking Abbey London Lions. That's going to make you really popular as the team commentator of the Diamond Wildcat.
Before I get to it, because actually I haven't given myself much room for thought in terms of a prediction of score or anything. I'll try and run through a couple of keys from kind of the prep I've done and watched both sides. I think Nottingham to win. Nottingham have probably got the smaller margin of error to win the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so Nottingham can probably Barking are probably slight favourites, is what I'm saying. In that sense.
You're saying that, but Nottingham, they need to basically play the perfect game.
No, they can make mistakes because it's relatively evenly matched. But I think if Nottingham have to look after the ball. The 2 times they played each other, Nottingham had 53 turnovers in 2 games for 57 barking points.
Oh, that's
So nearly so what's 26 and a half turnovers a game, giving up 29 points a game off turnovers. Nottingham can't do that because Barking are good in transition. Seven Oaks did a terrific job yesterday of slowing Barking up in transition. And it's not that Barking can't score in the half court, but Barking are best in transition pushing the ball. So if Nottingham turn it over, first of all, they're not shooting, and second of all, their defense isn't set. So that's an issue. And then Nottingham have to be able to establish the post effectively without losing the floor spacing and the ability to go inside out. So really, Joyner, Lundqvist have to dominate, along with Praise Egg-Breather if she plays, which is a question mark, because Barking don't have the depth on the interior to defend Nottingham consistently. And Mark said after the first league game for Barking, they don't have an answer for Jasmine Joyner on the glass. Stephanie May is good, but she gives up a couple of inches, and despite Steph being athletic, she's not as athletic as Jazz. Paige doesn't really want to be guarding Joyner. So Nottingham can, if they can establish the glass, that's the way they win the game. Someone feel for a minute.
Kaz, feel for a minute.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. Like, it's going to be a close game, isn't it? Well, I hope it is. But I think it will be, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing both teams.
I mean, again, on the big stage, when was the last time a WBBL final disappointed? I don't remember it.
No.
So, yeah, I'm personally very, very excited for this final. Mikey's giving us... Right, so, Mikey, you're about to go out on the floor. Your team's about to go out. You've got the whiteboard. The 3 keys just written down on the whiteboard. What are they for this game?
Nottingham is look after the ball, establish the inside, and offensive rebound. For Barking, control tempo. Shanice continue to do what she's done on Chelsea Shumpert. And defensively is communicate the switches when they come.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he was WNBL D1 Coach of the Year.
And I feel like I've missed another point for Barking, and it'll probably come back to haunt me.
Don't worry, you've got tomorrow. You've got opportunity tomorrow, and then when you're doing your bracket for the Michael Hansen Morris report, you can just dip it in there.
Okay.
Content. So, are we doing predictions, or are we not being those people?
I feel like you're not going to allow us to not give a prediction, which is an issue because I've really not thought about it much beyond the X's and O's and looking at. Oh, I just thought we haven't given a shout out to all the work Greg did.
Oh my God, we haven't given a shout out to all the work Greg did. Before he disowns us, let's do that.
No, and obviously we need to probably get this back out. But Greg did a really nice breakthrough with some of the statistical stuff in terms of output for Barking. This was done before Wednesday, so he actually published it as the game ended on Wednesday, which gave me the chance to wind him up that his data was incorrect. But
yes.
So, it's a huge statistical threat. Have you retweeted our focuses? I don't know.
I would hope so, frankly. I would hope so. Apologies. This makes for awesome podcasting right now, or video casting, whatever. Look, I'm putting that link in the chat right now. If you want to see it on Twitter, check it out. Our man, Coach MGM, Greg Mpofu, the legend. He'll be joining us. He doesn't know this, but he'll be joining us sometime soon to talk about the final as well, after the fact. But yes, so
basically the summary of Greg's work was when Cassie Breen and Kennedy Leonard play together, Lions in an elite offense. And that's logical. But the thing is, and I think if we really want to go deep, is some of the backcourt pairings for Nottingham haven't worked. Like they're improving, but Chelsea Shumpert and Simone Costa, I haven't seen a lot of those two both playing their best together. Whereas Breen and Leonard have clicked perfectly for Barking. Like you couldn't put it better. And like when coaches are recruiting, that's the perfect dream scenario. You get your two players that you want and they mesh together really well. And Barking have found that with Leonard and Breen. And obviously they've got other factors around that. It's not just two players that make a team click on one end of the floor, but those two together have been elite. I think that's what Greg's work was.
Well, I hope you've not just slandered his work.
I mean, the thread is 20 odd.
The thread is extensive. Long. It is long. And again, were there any particular highlights from it that you took?
No, because I've not read it all.
Oh my goodness.
I've not had time to go through it all myself. With obviously commentating Wednesday and stuff and doing some other work on the side that is not being disclosed. I've not gone through the whole thread, so
there you go. There is a little flavour of it. Each on their own is great, but paired together, Breen and Leonard are elite. Offensive production spikes way above the team and individual averages when they share court time together. Conversely, it grinds to a halt anytime they both sit. Look out for the. I mean, surely. So Mark Clark and his team are going to know this better than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect them both to sit in a final unless
I was going to say
an issue. But again, that number is like when we're talking, up at what's that, 1.6 points per possession is crazy. Like from a coaching point of view, I can't put into words how big a number that is with transition points. That's crazy.
So, I mean, you're Kendrick. You're looking at this. Oh, sorry, Kenrick. My apologies. You're Kenrick. You're looking at this. What are you doing with this information?
I don't think you do a lot with the information as such. I think it's pretty obvious that they work together. It's just about building the game plan to limit them as much as you can. I don't think this is a lot of this. There's some. Just having a quick brief through, there's a couple that are maybe surprising in terms of combinations. But when you're ever looking at 2 or 3 players, it's a little bit different to when you're doing a full lineup analysis and looking at all 5 players and which combos don't work. I don't think anyone looks at this and go, oh, Leonard and Breen play well together. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. It's just that just gives a little bit more weighting and get more proof to the actual numbers involved.
I was going to say, nobody's looking at this being like, oh, yeah, those two are a bit handy, aren't they? But, I mean, those numbers, they seem to surprise you.
Not me, but yeah, I mean, again, all the lineup stuff I did in the summer when I looked at, I know over last year, I looked at every lineup and every combination, like sometimes sliding one player, let's say, for Barking, say sliding Clocker in at the 4, compared to Chantel Charles, that number just with the other 4 players staying the same, just that one sub may sometimes impact it by 0.2, 0.3 points per possession, which is a huge gap. And it's the art of building a lineup. We'll go into another year because I need that long to prep it and try and say the best way to do it because it's difficult.
It's going to be a 4-part epic, and it's going to form the basis of the book that I'm ghostwriting for Michael. I'm not. Here is another clip, another bit of info from Greg's thread. Former league MVP Joyner is a big part of the Wildcats' identity. Strangely, she doesn't move the needle much either way overall for her team. On enough numbers of virtual identical. They're better in transition with her, but better without her in the half court. Head scratcher. That's firstly poor Twitter etiquette. That should be hashtag head scratcher. But otherwise, Mikey, just I've thrown this on you on the huff right now. So what do you make of it? And again, what are you seeing?
I mean, when you look at it, it's interesting. I don't think there's as much weighting to it just because of the amount of rotation, the other pieces around Joyner this year being a little bit inconsistent. So Wildcats have run so many different lineups. Sometimes they've managed to replace Jazz with Praise at the 5. Sometimes they've had to go smaller. And look, she's a huge impact on this game. And I will probably say, if Nottingham win, I don't see many scenarios where Joyner's not the MVP. There's a couple, but if Wildcats win it, Joyner, for me, is the MVP because I don't think Nottingham can win without her having a big game.
So, final one from our man there, Greg. Or should I say our man there, Greg. Together, the Wildcats pair truly are Batman and Robin. The numbers jump across the board, but they are truly world-class in transition when they share the floor. Better not turn the ball over or rush shots when they're both in. Yikes. 1.6. 1.6 per possession on transition. And that is the exact same with the London pair.
Leonard Green pairing, pretty much identical, yeah. Again, that's why turnovers are key for Nottingham. Barking do a pretty good job of looking after the ball. It's not a huge concern of mine, but Nottingham have done it in the past, and that's an issue.
Those numbers are identical.
So how many more places?
No. Those numbers are the same. The transition is 118. The points are 195. And the points possession are 1.653. That's mad. Are you checking it's working?
I'm not checking it's working. I trust him. I just
Interesting.
I just want to say he's not changed the numbers, but he has.
We've gone into a bit of a deep dive.
No, he hasn't. There is some errors in the. Maybe not.
All right, let's not bury the guy. Where's it all gone? There it is. Changing things during the broadcast. I do apologize. We need a producer here. It might end up being me. Is there any more on this final before we move on to Kaz's stat line of the week and the WNBA 25?
I don't know who's going to win.
Well, that's the beauty of it. We can have all these beautiful numbers. And again, Greg, amazing job. And Mikey, I'm really glad that we've got you to break down a little bit more further what Greg has told us. Your insight into it, absolutely invaluable as always. But that's why the game gets played. You know, we can't play these things on paper. Just like people didn't think Lehigh were going to win this year's March Madness. But hey, that's what it says on paper. Let's see how it transpires. So, Kaz, your final thought before the final on Sunday, unless we end up doing an emergency pod because the Barking Abbey people say some comment-worthy stuff.
Who's my prediction?
Whatever you want to give us.
I just think it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Another great advert for the women's game on Sky at a decent time.
Yes,
on a Sunday afternoon.
Actually, that's something we haven't mentioned, and that's a very, very valid point.
Let's hear it.
I think the final's going to be better because it's at 3 o'clock than 12 o'clock.
Imagine that. Does that mean the men's game's at 6 p.m?
5:30.
Okay. I still think they should have switched it and have the women's game headline, but here we are.
I think 3 o'clock's probably the more prime time slot.
On a Sunday, maybe.
Yeah. Well, especially with March Madness starting at 6 o'clock.
That'll be Mikey turned off. So no, I completely agree, Kaz. Mikey, final thoughts on this final, and if you want to give us a prediction,
I don't, but I feel
free.
If right now 71-67 Barking, but I've changed my mind 3 times in the last minute alone. But I think the winning team will have low to mid 70s on the board. I think
Okay.
it'll be relatively high scoring for a final.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of what we saw, similar type of scoreline to what we saw yesterday at Seven Oaks.
Okay. So that was
going to be like a defensive slug.
Was that 66, 63? No, it was a bit higher than that.
72 yesterday.
Oh, there you go. Kaz?
71-70 on a Chelsea Shumpert buzzer beater.
That would be dramatic.
Would be dramatic. I suppose I'm contractually obliged to say London Lions, aren't I?
No. You don't have anything to do with either women's team.
No, I suppose. I'm going to say. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how this loss.
You've got to give something. If I've given,
yeah, you did. Chill out, Hanson Morris. We've just given you half an hour to talk numbers. Okay, I'm speaking now. The question I have now is, how do they respond after that loss yesterday? Does that act as a motivation of like, we're going to go and punch Nottingham in the face and we're going to run them over and we're going to run them out of town? Or has that knocked them a bit? Has that asked them a question that they weren't necessarily prepared to answer? I mean, it was a close. I'm not saying it's not a blowout. Don't be ridiculous. But that is a significant loss, let's say. That's a big loss in the week running into a final. Now, Kaz, on an 8-point victory, is saying, ooh, a Katrinberg. I mean, I don't know. Are they vulnerable? Now, I'm not saying that London Lions, Barking Abbey are vulnerable, but I am asking the question, how do they emotionally, mentally respond to having been beaten in the league and they're coming into, excuse the light, there's a dog at the door trying to break it down because it thinks I'm about to have a hot take here. I'm not. Don't worry, dog. How do they respond? That's my big question. And with that being said, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to impact him, because if they take that and it's bulletin board material, they're winning this. Don't even worry. And I don't think it would be close if they have that fire and spark. And again, looking at how the games have gone, granted, this is a final. Nottingham, we know how Nottingham are in. Actually, we know how Nottingham are in finals, and it's not always been awesome. So I have talked myself into Barking Abbey London Lions. They are going to have to start strong, in my opinion. If they run out there, like, well, hang on, listen to me, like Leicester did. If they run this like Leicester did, they're winning. If they start slow, Nottingham more and more likely to get that win. But I think they're going to take the loss this weekend, or this midweek rather, and they're going to use it and they're going to run with it, and it's going to build them up, and they're going to be more powerful than they ever were. So I'm going London Lions for that reason. But they're going to have to start it on the right footing, because otherwise, could doubt seep in? I don't know. It's a final. This was a big game this week, midweek. This is a big game this weekend. And the mind is a very interesting thing when it comes to sports. There you go. That's my prediction, I think.
I mean, you managed to skirt around the stop. So if one team blows the other out in the first 5 minutes, they're more likely to win the game. That's a way of putting that. I'll give you credit.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen.
I will say that I feel, and I said this, we've managed to not talk about something that I should have done, is that Chantal Charles is not fully fit. And that's a big story. Because she's kind of a massive glue piece to this thing. And she struggled yesterday. She limped off, couldn't finish the game. So I'm going to guess she's not going to be fully fit for Sunday. And
guess what question one is from you tomorrow?
Well, I know it is, but again, I don't. If Chantal Charles doesn't play, I know she actually, again, we talked about Nottingham missing players. Chantal Charles didn't play the league game last month or 3 weeks ago either. Must say that. But Barking don't have a lot of depth in the front court. We've already talked about it being a Nottingham area to exploit. Charles can't go or is very limited in what she can do. It's a big loss for Barking, which would probably swing the favour slightly in Nottingham's direction. I will say that.
But what you're forgetting is they're taking that emotional, we got to prove everybody wrong mentality.
I don't think anyone's got anything. If anything, Nottingham have got the bigger chip on their shoulder. They've not been to a final in 3 years with a talented team. And actually, they haven't done a great job of winning close games. Especially in like one-off occasions. Lost the semi-final by 1 or 2 possessions to Durham last year. Lost to Sevenoaks by 1 or 2 this year in this cup semi-final. And I will say, if Nottingham are going to have a bad quarter, I would put money on it being the third. But that's a Wildcats thing. That's the Wildcats in a final look rather than anything else.
Okay. All right. I think we have, for the time being, exhausted WBBL trophy final.
And there's a lot of good league games this weekend as well, by the way. But we don't have time to go through all of them.
We do not have time to go through all that. We do have time to hear about Kaz and the exciting news in the WNBA very quickly. Kaz, what's the crack?
It is the 25th anniversary season this year, and the WNBA announced some stuff that they're doing. They've got a new ball, a new logo, new uniforms that haven't been released yet, and they're going to be naming. They're going to be naming the 25 greatest players.
Yeah, Sabali. Cool, right.
My question about that is, I don't know if they're counting active players or not. I can't.
The NBA did when they did their 50 at 50, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to.
They're good. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Well, I mean, you can't have a 25 without Dana Taurasi
and Sue
Bird.
And Sue Bird. Let's not go too far now.
So that's coming out, and that'll be a fun thing to debate. The 25 greatest moments.
Ooh.
So
we know what's number 1, right?
Teresa Witherspoon's shot.
Oh, I was gonna go.
Okay, maybe, but
no, I was gonna go the shot in the
Hamby.
Hamby heave.
Yes, the heave against the Hamby heave against Chicago.
Yeah.
Teresa Witherspoon.
Well, talk us through the Witherspoon one.
So New York. New York Liberty are playing the Houston Comets in the final. Oh, cool. Okay, good to see that.
For those who didn't see, Hugh Hopkins says they included current players when they did the top 15 at 15 years as well.
Okay.
Yeah, New York Liberty, Houston Comets, game 2 of the WNBA finals, and in those days it was just a two-game win.
Aggregate
two wins. Yeah. First to 2 wins.
Okay, so best of 3.
That's what I was looking for. Best of 3. Houston are up, looking like they've win it. There's about 3 seconds left. New York inbound the ball. Teresa Witherspoon takes a few dribbles and from half court just absolutely launches up a ridiculous shot that somehow goes in, and it's fantastic. Houston end up winning the series and winning the trophy. But that shot is just amazing. And one of the best things, if you can catch the clip, is just seeing Tina Thompson's face and the Houston Comets face, like did that just happen? And it's just incredible. It's super exciting.
So yeah, that sounds great. The Hamby heave.
This is gotta be more. I mean, the Hamby heave was a series ender, so I suppose that gives it a little bit more. But the Hamby heave was out of bounds, so is the greatest player.
No, I'm sorry. What?
It was out of bounds. She was out of bounds.
No.
Baz, remind me who that was against. Who did she make the shot against?
Chicago.
It was Chicago. It was Kaz's favourite team, Chicago.
Have we lost the Sparks fan and gained a Chicago fan?
We absolutely have. I'm surprised you're not wearing sky blue at all times at the moment. Blimey. This new basketball, I can't, in my mind, picture what the old one looked like. But this one it's orange with white panels. It looks
To-
mostly the same.
To me, it looks darker orange. That's the
Yeah.
that was the only difference I could kind of see.
There you go. So it looks very nice. Don't get me wrong, but
It's gone from this orange on the WNBA 25 to a different one. Yes,
oh
Hugh.
my god,
Yes,
Hugh Hopkins, friend of Focus Hoops, is also talking mad spicy.
We're out of bounds.
Outrageous.
And
so,
they
yeah.
and they also have given a date for the draft, April the 15th.
Ooh.
Unsure if it's virtual or in person. And they're saying they're still working on the schedule, should be out in a few weeks. And Kathy Engelbert says they're looking at 30 or 36 games, looking at TV schedules, venue availability.
And a mid-season tournament, right?
Oh yeah, the Commissioners'
yes.
Cup. Yes, this was supposed to happen last year, but they didn't because of obviously the COVID and the bubble issues. So in-season competition, starting just after the Olympic break, you have 10 regular season games that count towards like a total, and the top 2 teams play each other for the Commissioners' Cup, and there's a cash prize trophy at the end of it. I think that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to this.
Wait, so hang on. So the way this is working is the league, they're playing league fixtures, and then the top 2 in the league after 10 games play a one-off final.
No.
No.
It's a separate tournament that counts as double or to be honest, it's not 100% clear. I read it as like 2 groups of 6.
But okay. And then the
right
top
before
2.
Before the Olympic break, and then the final, or maybe semi-finals and finals happening straight after the Olympic break. But either way, a new competition, added excitement, more chances to win stuff, and we're here for it.
And maybe people will stop getting proper frustrated talking about the BBL and the rest of the world having cup competitions as well, because Americans are doing it now too. Hugh Hopkins reminds us that the ball is Wilson rather than Spalding, which seems like a significant thing to have remembered. I did notice it was Wilson when I got the press release. I was like, oh, that's a Wilson basketball. I'd forgotten they were Spalding previously. What a bunch of puppets we are right now.
WNBA draft news, actually, since Kaz said the date. So they're having to change it slightly because of the way the college system works this year. So in previous years, if you were senior, you were automatically entered into the draft.
Without declaring?
Yeah, because your college eligibility was done. So in theory,
all right.
But that's different.
Thousands of, I don't know if it's thousands is the right word, but probably 800 players eligible for the draft every year, plus juniors that are eligible. This year, because you don't lose college eligibility, you have to opt in to be drafted even as a senior, because the senior can return. So the date for that is either the 31st of March or 1st of April. I forget which one it is. Unless your team is in Final Four, in which case you have 48 hours after Final Four. So, for example, someone that's been linked to being a WNBA first, second round pick, Dee Richards of Baylor. If they make Final Four, she will have a few extra days to decide based on when they get eliminated rather than the deadline. But within the next 2 weeks, 25th, about this time in 2 weeks, we will know everyone that has opted in for the draft and who is going back to college, most likely.
So how excited should I be about Charlie Collier being drafted by the Dallas Wings? Like, am I on a scale of 1 to pure hype? What's my hype level? This is not filling me with joy right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. 7.
I don't think it's a high-end draft class. Collier's good, but she's not one of these. I'd say generational in the loosest sense. You probably get one every 2-3 years. Those huge franchise-changing first overall picks. It's not a draft with that. She may not even go number 1. I'm not sure personally. I would go with her number 1.
And what about Awak Kuier, who plays in Finland? I'm guessing you've not seen heaps of her.
Apart from on the Finnish national team and in EuroLeague. For me, she's number 1.
Oh.
I think she's got the most long-term upside. She's still only 20?
Yeah, she's young.
And I think
oh gosh, no, she's 19 currently.
Yeah. She's young. But they could I've seen a lot of early mock drafts saying they might both go. I'm not sure if I'm Dallas, I spend the first 2 picks on the same position.
Bro, check this out. ESPN have Dallas picking Natasha Mack 5th, also a power forward.
She won't go that high.
Dallas are going to trade these picks.
We're going to have to trade some of them.
Yeah,
We know they can't have 5 rookies in the top 13. That's for sure.
How excited should Kaz's Atlanta Dream be with Dana Evans, point guard from Louisville?
They're okay for guards, though.
I don't think Evans will go 3rd either.
Oh, right. Well,
I think they'll go with a wing or a 4, so someone like Chelsea Dungy from Arkansas, but I'm not sure. Again, I don't think the top end's super deep, so I don't think she would typically be a 3, but they might stretch for her. The girl from Tennessee, Rena, I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's Rena Davis.
Yeah, Rena Davis.
In consideration.
So they have her 4th on their board going to the Fever.
Yeah, I could see that. Potentially one of the big slips if Dallas doesn't pick them both. So one of Collier or Cura may be available. Where Atlanta picking? They are 3, aren't they?
Atlanta are 3,
yeah.
Yes.
And
Indiana
and
are 4.
Even stretch for a sort of like utility guard like Westbrook. Again, it's not a huge need. It's going to be interesting as I think a lot of players are quite closely grouped together this year, and I think the tournament might decide a lot of things because there's some guards that I thought were probably WNBA ready. But again, some people, all of these players that we're talking about obviously Collier's opted in, but the likes of Davis may stay in school another year. So that throws the mocks aren't that accurate right now because we don't know who's going to be in the draft.
Dallas have 4 of the top 7 draft picks.
It's 6 of the top 13.
That's absurd.
They have 1, 2, 5, 7,
13,
and 13. So 5 of the top 13.
That's hilarious.
We've already one of the youngest
guessing,
in the league.
And 12 players under contract.
It's going to be fun. I'm really excited to cover Dallas Wings this year. Who Hopkins said, spoke to a few players this week, and they mostly didn't have a clue what the Commissioner's Cup was either. I think it will become clear as it happens. The players will get excited for it in the 2nd or 3rd seasons, as is often the case. I say, however it runs, run it a bit like the Challenge Cup in the EIHL ice hockey. Just if you need to double up some early round fixtures with league fixtures, saying they count for both. It's
basketball.
What? This is the WNBA we're talking about.
Yeah, more basketball.
I'm for it. More teams as well.
Why have LA and Las Vegas have a 1 game counts as 2 different competitions? Why not have them play twice?
That's what I read it as, though. 1 game counts.
Yeah, no,
but
the wording was.
You're the same guy that's like saying, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind a 1 p.m. tip off so that we can get home for the players." Like, which way is this?
Both.
Okay, fair enough. Who Hopkins coming? Mad Spice Hopkins. That's what we call him. Atlanta is a finals threat this year with their current roster. Michael doesn't agree, or he's trying to work out if he agrees or not.
Yeah,
Kaz is upset because he didn't say Sky.
I think there's so many teams you can that look like finals contenders this year. I mean, Vegas, Seattle, Chicago, and Minnesota. But like they're so strong. But Atlanta picking up Cheyenne Parker I really like, but the loss of Benaj Eleni makes me sad. And also, but I think it's going to be so tough this year because obviously the limited rosters, the limited teams, the teams are just becoming more stacked, aren't they? Imagine you've got 12 teams in the NBA. You've got the equivalent talent on those 12 teams. Your starters on other teams would be bench players on the 12 teams you've got.
Are you saying that we need an expansion?
I am saying that, yes.
Oh,
we need expansion. We need the Houston Comets to come back. We need a team in Portland. Bring the Portland Fire back. In fact, bring all the teams that aren't here anymore back.
The Detroit Shock.
Yeah.
Is your team in Tulsa?
Tulsa, yeah, Tulsa Shock moved to
There you go.
Detroit, or Detroit moved to Tulsa.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
And then Dallas.
I'm going to disagree with Hugh. There you go. I've said it.
Oh my God.
I think Atlanta are a little short in the front court and too guard heavy. I don't think they're balanced enough for a top 3, top 4.
Just with who else there is this year.
Yeah, I think there's a few teams that are a little bit more balanced. Like really, who's your 5 on that roster as it is now? It's just Liz Williams, right? Elizabeth Williams.
Mm.
Cheyenne Parker.
Parker's not a 5.
Was she not play that? Okay.
He's like a 3-4. Strickland's a 4.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
Stretchable,
missing someone. Someone's going to say I'm missing someone, but I just feel they don't have to. But again, the draft can change that. If you pick up a 6'4" Collier, a 6'5" Cura, then you've got a bit more depth. But I think Atlanta probably, well, again, it's going to be tight, but I just think there's a few teams with a bit more depth and high-end talent.
You reckon you can? You reckon you're going to do a mock draft, Mikey?
When is it? April the 15th.
Yeah. Same week as the Euro League.
Oh
finals.
no! Well, what we'll do, we'll have to do a Focus Hoops WNBA draft special because Thursday, the 15th of April, is a Thursday. That's unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 1 a.m. till 6 a.m. Yeah.
We won't be doing. Well, actually, no, because I'll be back at work by then.
All of our employers will love that.
We'll figure it out, but I don't think I'll do a mock because maybe a first round mock.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not going to commit to it because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like in 3 weeks' time.
We keep eyes focused on focushoops.com.
Let's get through March Madness first because that will change a lot of things.
Get through March Madness and then we will have a Focus Hoops mock draft. It might not just be all on Mikey's shoulders. We might all chip in, or we might just make Mikey do it all. We don't know. Kaz, Rincon Kaz, let's go. Kaz's corner.
Yes, right. I've got some good stat lines for you today,
Ooh.
and I put some emoji hints in a tweet earlier to make very obscure links to the players. so
we can't guess them.
Katrin Hulme would love that, by the way. She's a big one for that. Carry on.
You might be able to guess them. You should be able to guess one of them. Okay, so number 1, we have double trouble. Wings players with triple doubles. Marina Mabrey had 33 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists, playing in Israel. Satu Sabali had 20 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal, and 0 turnovers. You don't need to make a note of this. It's okay. And so that's 2 there as 1. Then we have Shea Peddy for Nasibe in Turkey in a 2-point win, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals. And Hannah Little, playing in Finland, had 24 points. You're going to enjoy this. 19 rebounds, 10 of them were offensive. 7 assists and 5 steals. So there is your summary, if you can read that. So you didn't have to write it down.
Gosh. So
you got the Wings duo, the young Dallas Wings.
No, you can't pair them together. That's unfair. That's standing up. And they don't play on the same team, do they?
They don't, but they play on the same team in the WNBA. But I only have 3, so it's you can separate them if you want to separate them.
Oh my God, this is tough because this is tough for a number of reasons. Number 1, just look at the numbers. We've got some outrageous numbers. 2, you're asking me to honestly choose between Satu Sabali, Marina Mabrey, and Shea Peddy. That's just cruel.
And your new favourite player, Hannah Little, with 10 offensive rebounds.
Oh my goodness.
Do you need a?
I love offensive rebounds so much.
Do you need a opposition breakdown?
Yes, let's hear this, please.
Marina Mabrey was a 16-point win. her team was in fourth place, and they were playing the third place team. So that was a little upset.
That's big.
Satu thrashed Izmit by 44 points.
Izmit, not bad team, but okay.
They've not been doing great in the Turkish.
How many points?
League.
How many points was that one?
44.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, we're missing efficiency numbers, Kat.
Sorry.
I want final efficiency numbers.
No, because that's just the number you're going to go off.
Yeah, you got to look at the stat. Shay had a 2-point win in Turkey over Hatay. And Hannah Little, it was a 2-point loss, but it was 10 offensive rebounds. And they were the third place team with an 18-7 record, playing the first place team who have only lost one game all season and won 24. And they took them to within 2. So I thought she's allowed to be on it, even though it was a loss. Because it was 10 offensive rebounds.
I think, and this hurts. This hurts for one reason other than horrendous bias. I'm going to have to remove Satu from the competition because relative competition just doesn't do it for me. But 0 turnovers, just
29 minutes as well. But that's because it was quite a blowout.
Mikey, who are you leaning towards?
None of the above. How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, you.
No, I actually managed to catch this game, and there's a performance that I prefer. So I'm going to go with the one I saw in person and actually watched.
Okay, and which of these of Kaz's stat line of the week are you going to go with?
I'm going to say Kaz made a bad list. There you go. How's that? And
So who are you putting into Kaz's stat line of the week then, Mikey? And also, if you're watching, get in the comments. Let us know who you're going with. Go on, Mikey.
Clara Lundqvist in a 2-point win, 28-7, 5 and 4.
Why is that better than 10 offensive rebounds?
Because she's a point guard, I don't expect her to get 10 offensive rebounds.
Why has she not got 15 assists?
Because she scored 28 points.
That's only 4 less than Hannah Little.
Playing against a WNBA point guard.
Who were they playing against?
Norka Ping and Chanel Molina.
Ah, okay. But she's not on my list.
I know she's not.
That is a good stat line, though.
I can't look past Hannah Little's 10 offensive rebounds. I'm just blinded by such a glorious...
I think Mabry's stat line's incredible.
That is awesome as well.
Also, shout out to Esther Little with a triple-double and somehow still didn't make the list.
It's a non-British list.
Okay, that's valid. I'll let you off.
He's bringing all the smoke today, isn't he?
No. I mean, I obviously wasn't here for the start of it, but having 12 blocks in a game is insane.
It's just absurd, isn't it?
I'm going Mabry off that list.
I'm going Hannah Little because I'm a sucker for offensive rebounds. But Mabry, just hell of a year she's had, from that breakout game against Mercury to being Mikey's stat line player of the week. That's outrageous. Kaz, out of interest, who surely for balance you must go Shea Petty then?
Yes, I'll go Shay.
Who would Ishmael Fontaine pick?
Shea Petty.
Shea Petty.
One of my emojis was an alarm. You see, buzzer beater.
Hey, I like it. Do you know what, Kaz? That was the best one you've done so far. That's been my favorite.
Thank you.
The graphic helped. In the comments, let us know who you would have gone for. Was it, well, Kaz, I'm not going to do your job for you. You know, I could never do it as well.
Was it the double wings from the Dallas Wings? Was it Hannah Little in Finland, or was it Shea Petty in Turkey?
There we go. Michael Hansen Morris, do you want to explain exactly what other link? This is Link Central in the chat today. What other link I've just put in the chat there?
That is the March Madness Women's Bracket group. And a password which is very easily guessable, but that's fine.
I mean, isn't the idea of it that it's accessible to everybody?
Exactly.
So let's just share the screen. My God.
I would share mine, but it's got my half filled in bracket and I'm not giving it away yet.
My dog is going to be so angry with me. All right. So, Mikey, you know this better than I do. But you've got 3 days until the tournament starts. We now know your ESPN name. So this is the group, the Focus Hoops group, like we say. So I'm guessing that we just smash that play now for free button. We log in with our credentials. I'm not going to do that right now.
Sign up, either one.
Or sign up if you're not already a member. ESPN website, well worth signing up to, by the way, if you're a fan of all things American sports. And then you're going to enter the Focus Hoops passcode. It is Focus Hoops. And get involved. You can have, per person, 25 different entries. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, Michael Hansen Morris, who, you know.
I will probably do 2.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do at least 15.
No, look, I'm not going to lie. I've probably spent 2.5 hours on my bracket. So.
Is that all?
Yeah.
I suppose with all the combined games that you've watched this year in the women's tournament, probably you could do it in your sleep. Okay, that is more than enough for tonight. But I don't know about you guys and you guys in the chat. A huge thank you as always to Chester Donnelly and of course the legendary Hugh Hopkins for joining us. Joining us in the chat. That's been awesome. I haven't enjoyed a Kaz and Daz show like this in ages.
And we need to get Hugh back on for some WNBA chat.
Hugh, anytime, you know where we are. Hey?
Draft special with Hugh.
Draft special with Hugh Hopkins. I assume he'll be busy that day, but maybe not.
We'll be on air 5 hours before the draft starts.
Yeah.
We're certainly probably not recording the whole draft at 1 a.m. in the morning.
I dare say not. Right, Kaz.
Thank you.
Final thoughts.
It's going to be a good game on Sunday. Everyone tune in. Everyone watch it. Everyone watch loads of basketball.
Where can we find you, Kaz? Where can the people find you?
And can I just say, Georgia Jones had a 17-point second quarter and had 5 threes in about 5 minutes on Saturday. And even though they lost, she was awesome. Where can people find me? They can find me on Twitter at HoopingKazzyB. And there is a Mystics, bit of a write-up on the Mystics and their 3-game home stretch on focushoops.com.
And if people want to hear your voice, where can they hear that?
Just in the streets of Manchester. I just walk around and chat.
Shouting.
Or
Hannah Shaw. Let me tell hey, you. Hannah Shaw's great. Check her out. Kazzy B. Is that what you do? Is that you?
Basically what I do all day.
Sounds.
Or I'll be on the Manchester Met Mystics YouTube channel, commentating their home games. Next home game is Saturday against Cardiff, and then Tuesday back in Abbey.
Cannot wait. Mikey, what say you? Where can people find you? Should you want them to be able to?
Probably at Focus Hoops this weekend, if all goes well. Or the not, certainly Focus Hoops YouTube in the meantime when we get this content out for the finals. But maybe some Focus Hoops stuff on Sunday if things pan out, maybe.
Imagine this.
But before that,
Hanson Morris report on the road.
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see.
If not, WBBL official Saturday 1 o'clock, Sevenoaks Suns, Newcastle Eagles, I believe.
Well, I should hope so, mate. You're commentating it, like.
Just the games are kind of merged together with everything that's going on. Yeah, Sevenoaks Newcastle, of course it is. Because Sevenoaks are on the road for a home game on Sunday. 2021 for you.
Why wouldn't they be? Awesome stuff. Hugh Hopkins says, my draft knowledge sucks. I'll start researching. Hugh, don't forget, join the fantasy bracket. Get your bracket in. It would be great to, just to see how you go. Everybody, we're going to put a tweet out. Kaz is feverishly tweeting that right now, I can tell, with the link to that. So that's all from us for this evening. This has been a lot of fun. My dog is probably going to forget who I am when I go and see them in a couple of minutes' time. So huge thank you to Kazzy B.
Thank you.
And a massive thank you to Mikey.
Thank you.
And of course, thank you to everybody checking out the show. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon. Definitely Thursday, and who knows, maybe even before that. Take care, and don't forget, final on Sunday. Watch it, or you'll be missing out.